Hey, thanks for clicking. This is Joe Fritz, also known as Raptor Keat. And today I'm going to be taking those isolated color segments that we made in the last video, and we're going to go ahead and turn them into something that this program can understand, and thus send over to my paper cutter so that I don't have to spend time with an X-Acto knife and all that. It's a great time saver, but like I said before, you could just print these out and cut them out by hand. Pixel art is really good that way. The first thing I need to do is make this bigger because I'm going to be putting this on 8x10 canvases. So we're going to need to make this bigger. Basically double click on it. I want to move it away from the edges so that it will cover up the canvas. And it gives you this handy thing on the side to tell you how big it's going to be. Like I said in the last video, I want it to be 7 inches. Even though when I made it in that previous video, I told it I wanted it to be 7 inches, but once you transfer it into this program, it's going to be smaller. That's just the way it ends up. So this is going to be 7 inches. Let's see. Do I want it to be a little bigger, maybe? Let's go with the full 8. We at least want it to be 8 wide. It's 8 from here to here, basically. And so I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger so it'll be bigger on the canvas. Okay, so basically you want to check what kind of paper you're using. You want to make sure it's on cut. If you have an auto blade, you want it to be on auto blade. If it's some other type of blade, all that good stuff. Now, I have it set to cardstock, but it's kind of a lighter paper that I'm using, so I moved it down to 2. It takes a little experimenting to figure out like what's the right setting. You just kind of have to play around with it and figure out what's right for you. But basically, the ideal thing that you want to happen is you just peel the paper off and you have a nice stencil. You don't want to have to go in and do any more cutting. But before I hit send on this, I'm going to cut to a video I recorded where I talk about the kinds of paper I use and show you how I load my my silhouette over here. So here goes. So there's 2 basic types of paper that I use for kitty. There's my kitty. Yep, hi kitty. So there's 2 basic types of paper that I use. I just use this handy generic crafting paper. You can usually find this on clearance for pretty cheap. So that's why I use it. I'm not really interested. Although I have thought about using some of these patterns for various designs, but haven't gotten around to doing that yet. But yeah, these are, you can usually pick these up for a song. They'll have them on clearance. But this paper is kind of thin. I have a sheet pulled out right here ready to go. This paper's kind of thin, and the patterns can sometimes make it hard to tell if the stencil's cut out properly. So I just flip it over, use the white side of it. There you go. Nice white. Okay. The other kind I use, just common colored construction paper. I like to use this if there's a lot of small details and I want the paper to hold together. So there you go. This new camera's a little close. I can't zoom out any more than this, but hey. That's what you get when you spend $20 on a little action cam. Alright, there it is, my Silhouette Cameo. Works really great. I'm gonna load it up with paper now. Gotta make sure that's there. I'm going to power it on, switch over here. Alright. We just have to make sure it's lined up with this edge over here. That guy right there. Gonna put it in there. Then over here on the screen, we're just gonna go load. And it sucks it in automatically and it's ready to go. Okay, so there's that. We're going to go ahead and hit the send button now that it's loaded up. And the magic's going to happen. Here we go. And there it goes. Doing its little job there. Alright, and so once it's finished, see job done. Once it's finished over here, we can go ahead and hit unload. And it's probably hard to see. You can kind of see the outline of it. And what we're going to go ahead and do is just kind of peel it off. I don't think I can do that with one hand, but basically we'll peel it off, and if everything's gone right, this will come right out. And you want to save this centerpiece too, so that you can do all kinds of interesting things, like maybe add some flair to it, or maybe you want to fix the background. Maybe you messed up on the background, or fix the outline or whatever. You definitely want to keep a hold of this piece here. But of course the real thing you want to use it for is for your bottom color, whatever light color you want to use. So let's move back to the computer and we'll do another one. Alright, the job's all done on that. We're going to go ahead and go back to design. And we can either close this or leave it open. Let's go ahead and close it. We're going to go ahead and save it. We're going to save it to the same folder that the stencils are in. We're going to open a new one. We're going to open the next layer, Pikachu 2. Now this will be our black layer once all is said and done. I knew there was a reason why I like to save the other one. And the reason is we want to make sure that we are making this the exact same size. So 8283. If we don't make it the exact same size, this is a perfect square, so this will be easy. If we don't make it the exact same size, the stencils aren't going to line up at all. So 283, 8.283. Voila! The exact same size. Now we're just going to move you down into here. For this particular size that I'm dealing with, it doesn't really matter where on the stencil you're doing it. But unlike Photoshop, this does correspond to the size it's going to be in real life when you print it or whatever. So basically, however big you want Pikachu, you make him in this program. I usually like to kind of move it off to the side so that you don't have to deal with stuff. But again, if you want to keep it as centered as possible so that you don't accidentally spray paint off the edges or whatever, that's fine too. But since I'm doing something smaller than the sheet of paper I'm cutting this stencil out of, doesn't really matter. So we come over here to trace, and we're gonna select area to trace. And again, because it's black, it immediately just highlights the area I want, and that's the way I like it. Then we come over here to trace outer edge. I may want to and trace everything. Although trace outer edge should be fine as long as I did my job as far as making enough room for it. I'm just going to go ahead and trace everything, just to be on the safe side. Now in the last video, you may have noticed I kind of added this little thing in here, whereas that was just a solid black line. I want to try to make sure this little pixel is covered up. I didn't do the same with this. I might have you know, run a line in here and run a line right there just to make sure that this, at least two coming in from different directions so that this would stay in place. But I'm going to be doing the white after I do the black, so I think this will be fine, but I guess we'll find out once we get in there and start spray painting. So now we're going to go ahead and send this over. And the settings I have it on were good, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit send, and you're going to hear this thing sound like a transformer. Alright, so this was kind of a short one, but this is a pretty easy process when you get right down to it, especially with the help of Silhouette Studio. They're not paying me or anything. I've just been using this product for a year, and I really like it. It works, it's easy to use, and it's helping me make some stuff that's fun and entertaining. So people seem to really like the stuff I'm making. So thank you for watching, and get out there and make the world a little more pixelated. All right, thanks for watching.